Okay, so I'm just opening the box. This is what came. So let's see what we got. Tube. Rear cog set, whatever you call them. A particularly box of bits. One wheel, complete with motor. Throw it down there. A pretty cheap looking tire. Not sure we'll be using that, but anyway, we've got it. And a user manual with some weird looking bloke. So I know a lot of you guys are not going to like this, but this little beastie here is going to replace the alternator wheel, the alternator motor on my e-bike. I can just get this up, get the plastic off it. What this is the cheapest 1500 watt e-bike wheel motor you can buy, pretty much. It came from a company called Voilamart, as you can see. The 1500 watt motor on a 26-inch wheel to fit my e-bike, and these are the bits that came with it. Got a knife. And this is what's inside the back of the box. So, a small, supposedly 1500 watt controller. Not sure about that. It's a bit small to be 1500 watts, but oh, what do I know. So that's the controller. It's I plugged it into the somebody's, before they put it in the box, they plugged all the different wires in so that you would know what way it goes. Well, that's very sensible. Brakes. That must be the speed sensor, maybe? Or else pedal cadence sensor, not sure. One of the two. Throttle. And these wires, these three wires, these will go to the motor. They'll go to three wires in the motor. Probably using this connection block, I'm guessing. And that should be, that'll be for the this block here, the sensors on the motor. Or that block there, the sensors on the motor. So there you go. That's what you get for, I think I paid something like £180 delivered, something like that, which seems reasonably cheap to me. These brake should have micro switches on them to kill the power whenever you pull the brake. I know some people think that's not important, but I think it's very important. Magnets. These be little magnets, so that I'm guessing it's for this. That will sense when these magnets go past. Yeah, that's what that is. It'll be something like that. So this bit spins. This bit must go onto your pedals, and then this that just clamps on. So that looks like what we've got, and that will be replacing that. Sorry guys, but it was just going to be too much work trying to figure out how to make a gearbox to reduce the speed of that motor. That motor is doing exactly the same job as that motor. The only difference being that motor is geared down so that it doesn't turn at 3000 RPM or whatever it is. It doesn't try to turn the pedals at that sort of RPM. And the problem is, that's exactly what that thing's trying to do. It's trying to run it around about 3000 RPM, and the gearing going to the pedals is so far out that with the bike in first gear, I'm still doing 30 miles an hour, which is fun, but not very practical. You can't pedal to keep up with it. So this kit will be going in, will be being fitted. That motor will be being removed. That battery pack will still be staying there though, because it's a good battery pack. That controller may or may not stay. I haven't decided yet. I might use that controller to power that motor, or I might just use the controller that comes with it to power it. Or I might try this first and then try this. I don't know. We'll see. But this is where we're headed. 1500 watt motor. Now what I will do is I'll probably get this fitted in the bike and then test. I'm not expecting this to be terribly high quality. It's cheap, and in my experience, things that are cheap for a reason. So I'm guessing that this hasn't been terribly well fitted. I'm guessing there will be issues. I've already read somebody saying that this is all very sharp. So this will need to be something done to stop it from puncturing the tire. But this is going to be a lot of fun. And with any luck, we might even be able to pull wheelies with it. We'll see. That's the ultimate goal, is to be able to pull wheelies. But that might require having the battery shifted from the middle of the frame to the back of the frame. But we'll see how it goes. Okay, well, as you can see, we've got the rear wheel fitted, and it seems to fit quite well. I had to spread out the rear forks a little bit, just to make it fit, but I didn't have to push too hard. So hopefully that should be okay. I probably will have to get some kind of torque arms there to just to stop the motor from breaking these, but we'll worry about that later. We're going to have a few test runs on it before worrying about that too much. I have put, I can't remember if this is the original chain gear set, or one that it may be one that I got off another bike. Can't remember now, but anyway, that's on. So I had to take the other one off because it was it had the very small sprocket on there, which might be okay for some things, but I think to try and keep up with this beast of a motor, we're going to need a bigger chain gear. So anyway, that's on. Next step is to remove this, and I've been thinking about this, and I must admit it's been annoying me quite a lot, the idea of taking this off and never using it again. That does annoy me. So what I'll probably do is, I've got another old bike lying in the shed, and I'll probably, once I get this all up and running and working, I'll probably put that onto another old bike that I have, and more of a road bike, less of an off-road bike, and we'll see what happens from there. But anyway, that's next step. Remove this. Probably take this out as well. We'll use the new one that was being sent. Initially, at any rate. Probably find some better way of securing the battery, and also I'll probably have to put something around the battery just to protect the actual individual cells, because I found on my other bike the cells, although I've got foam and then wrapped in this masking, or what do you call it, gaffer tape, I found that the foam was wearing through. So I've actually, on my other bike, I have a piece of alloy, flat alloy, going right around where it's rubbing up against the frame of the bike, just to try and protect the batteries. So that's the next step. Remove this, remove this, remove this, and bolt in the new stuff and see what happens. I don't think I'll be using the new throttle, because I have a throttle on this bike anyway. It's probably just as good. Likewise, brakes, I have good enough brakes, although I need to double check the connectors. They may all be different right enough. But we'll see. We'll get the we'll get this stuff off first and then take it from there. Okay, so we've got everything all cable tied together. The throttle cable comes down here. Brake wires, they all go down through there. I've just bundled everything together underneath and cable tied them all there into position. Like I said before, this is the Cadence Sensor, which may or may not get used, so that's why I've deliberately left that out. I forgot to mention this connector before. That's, I think, for headlights. So at some stage that will get connected to this wire, which will give me these headlights working. And I have a tail light as well for it. Although, like I say, this is probably never going to be on the road. So I don't know, I might use it for nighttime off-road trails. Not sure about that. Anyway, we are secure enough to take it for a test ride, and when I've done that, I will get back to you and let you know how it goes. This will be my first ride with a 1500 watt hub motor, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. My last motor was 2000 watts or thereabouts, but it was nowhere near as efficient as this will be, because it was just an old car alternator. This is purpose made for the job, so here's hoping it's going to be a good one. 1500 watts. I have tried 500 watts on this bike, mid-drive, and that goes well, so I shall let you know shortly how this goes. It's quite handy. All you have to do is push the button to turn it on. Just make sure there's nothing fouling that, and then turn the throttle, and the wheel goes round. So, as I said before, I'm pleasantly surprised at this kit, at the, not so much the quality of the ancillaries, because, I mean, things like the brake handles are terrible. These are horribly cheap and nasty. But exactly as I expected. The throttle, it's okay. It's just standard cheap throttle you get from China. It costs less than £10. The brakes, probably something similar, less than £10. The tyre, well, we'll see. I've put it on for now, but the tyre is something you can easily change. But the thing I'm pleasantly surprised about so far is the wheel and the motor. Just the quality of them. This chain gear, whatever it is, whatever you call those things. That, I can never remember. That came with the kit. It looks okay. I'll not worry too much about it. I can easily screw another one on if I choose to. So the nice thing about this is the main thing, the motor appears to be good, and the wheel, they all appear to be okay. Everything else is cheap and easy to replace and easy to upgrade if I choose to do so. So basically what I'm saying is, if what you're looking for is a cheap entry-level motor kit for your bike, to turn your bike into an e-bike, and you're looking for a powerful hub motor, then so far this would appear to be a suitable kit. And I'll report back also on the Cadence connector, which I actually tried it earlier. I had it plugged in, and it appears to be, I actually have a clip plugged in a minute. If I turn this very slowly, doesn't matter how slowly I'm turning these, the wheel is going flat out. So I suspect there's no way I'll be keeping up with that. Anyway, I'll give it a try and report back. Okay guys, as you can see, the tyre is now dirty. I've been out for a spin. Rode about 3-4 miles, something like that. And now to give you my first impressions on this kit. It is probably what I expected. Not massive torque. When you twist the throttle, it just gradually builds speed. It doesn't suddenly try to thrust you forward. If you pedal at the same time as you accelerate, you really feel a big difference. As I feared, the Cadence Sensor is only suitable for when you're, this little sensor down here that picks up when the pedals are turning. Cadence Sensor is only suitable for when you are in 250 watt mode, which is when you have these two wires connected. When they're connected, to be honest, I don't think the amount of power is reduced, but the speed is reduced. So it only does about 14 or 15 miles per hour, something like that, when you're pedaling, or at least that's how far it will assist you. If those two wires are not connected and you start pedaling with the Cadence Sensor on, basically it just takes off. It's kind of pointless, really. You've no control over it whatsoever, and much more control just using the throttle. So if being able to pedal and be pushed along at the same time is important to you, then you probably would need to get a different kit. Although I have to admit, I didn't try playing with the throttle while I was doing that, but I don't think it would make any difference. So yes, definitely if you need to keep it legal, then you need those two blue wires connected. Otherwise it's just uncontrollable. It's wanting to do 30 miles per hour the entire time, which is okay, but you've got no control over the speed whatsoever. And like I say, 30 miles per hour, yes, that's what it was doing. I was riding on the flat with a slight tailwind, I was doing 30, and with no tailwind, I was doing 28. So I went up and down a straight both ways, and 30 miles per hour is pretty much the speed of this kit, if speed is important to you. Like I said before, this thing, I think there's something faulty here. I could see the as I was accelerating, I could see the voltage, the power level drop down, which is normal, this sort of voltage sag, and I could see that happening. But this bottom light hasn't been lit yet, so it's probably faulty. But I don't really care about that. Like I say, I've got a better throttle anyway that I could use, which displays voltage, which is much more useful. But yeah, could I recommend this kit? If a 1500 watt kit is what you're after, then yes, absolutely. And also, like I said, this motor appears to be very good, and I suspect at some stage it might get a bigger, more beefy controller, which is this one, plugged into it, which is also supposedly 1500 watts. But I think that one it's a heavier duty controller. What I might do at some stage is put an ammeter onto the battery wires to see what power is being drawn from the battery, because I suspect that there is a bottleneck here somewhere. I suspect that this controller is probably 1500 watts max surge. I don't know. To me, the whole thing feels more like 1000 watts than 1500 watts, but very hard to say. It's hard to know exactly, since I've never actually ridden a proper e-bike with 1500 watts. So, but anyway, yes, if a cheap kit is what you're after, then this is certainly cheap. One thing I would say is it's not light. The back wheel is, if you go to lift the back of this bike, it's a ton weight. It's not a great deal lighter than it was when I had my other kit on it, with the car alternator. I would say it's not a great deal different in weight. So bear that in mind. The whole thing will be extremely heavy after you've put your batteries on it, and this kit, which probably weighs about 6 or 7 kilograms just by itself. Alright, thanks for watching, and any comments, sure, just post them down below. Cheers, bye. Okay guys, so I just back from another ride on my bike, a second ride on it, and probably another 2 or 3 miles. Took it up an old lane, up some steep hills, so probably give it a slightly better idea than I did in the last update of just how this bike performs, or sorry, how this motor performs. And yeah, it probably is 1500 watts. I think last time I suggested maybe it was only felt like 1000 watt motor. It's not going to pull wheelies. It's not a torque monster, which I guess in some ways is a good thing, because it could only get myself into trouble with something very powerful. But it goes really, really fast. I had the gear selector in 7th on that, and it's in the middle cog down there. So I'm not sure what gear you would call that. It's 21 speed, but anyway, yeah, I could barely keep up with it. Bike was probably doing over 30 miles an hour, and that's pretty fast on a push bike. I think I said that I could recommend this kit, and I guess, yeah, if all you want is something that'll push you along at 30 miles an hour and eat up your battery quite quickly, then yeah, I could recommend it. As a bicycle, as something for you to pedal, it leaves a lot to be desired. Like I said before, the cadence sensor down below kicks in whenever you start pedaling, and it basically just pushes you flat out, or wants to push you flat out. Now, if you have, like I said before, these two blue wires joined, flat out will be 14, 15 miles an hour, something like that. But there's lots of occasions you don't want to be doing 14 or 15 miles an hour. You want to be doing 3 or 4 miles an hour, like in between traffic and so on. And that just does not. There's no way of reducing the power that you get. Now, that's not the fault of the motor. That's the fault of the controller. It's probably the cheapest, nastiest controller they could find to put along with this motor. And although it all plugs together and it all works, it's just not suitable for using with the Cadence Sensor for pedaling. I can't see any situation where you would want to use that. On my other bike, that one over there, it has 9 different levels of speed, and because it drives it's a mid drive, so it's driving the gears in the rear. It also, you have the difference in gearing, which adjusts your speed. So it's much more controllable, so really and truly, you're stuck with using this with a throttle, which of course in the UK is not legal. So yeah, I can't recommend it as a kit for road use, but as something for off-road use, for having a bit of fun on, for flying about. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, hell of a lot of fun. So yeah, I could recommend it for that. And like I said before, the money I paid for this entire kit would have been a reasonable amount just to pay for the motor alone. So I'm not complaining in any way. I know the last time I probably sounded a little bit underwhelmed after riding it. That's because I'm used to the 500 watt kit on the mid drive, which if you go up through the gears, probably wouldn't be that much different to this, although this is faster. There's no question, this feels faster and pushes you harder. But also because I have used my alternator kit, which yeah, it gives a similar sort of feeling in terms of speed to this. So, yep, it's good. It's probably not a pretty just typical male. I want more power, but anyway, that's the crack with this particular kit. For messing about on, great fun. For regular road use, I think you might want to look into replacing your controller and upgrading that so that you can have levels of speed, so that when you do pedal, you're not just going flat out the whole time. But for the price, I cannot complain. Excellent value for money. And like I said, you'd have paid that just for the motor alone. So that's where we are. I did mention before I might try this kit, this controller on it, and see how it goes. But to do that, I need to cut connections and so on. So I might do that. We'll see. At the moment, I just need to recharge this. Also, I just discovered tonight that the bottom segment down here only lights up when the battery gets low. So as the battery was sagging down, as I was going along full tilt, that lit up amber to warn me that my battery was low. But I always knew the battery was a bit on the low side, so that's not a problem. So that's how that works. So yeah, good fun, but more to do. The other thing I need to do is to fix the brakes on this thing, because they are hopeless, completely hopeless. They're just about get you stopped and no more. But that's another job, another bit of fun. And to be honest, the bike is a bit too small for me, so I might end up just putting this wheel onto another bike, one that fits me a bit better. Right, that's me signing off from this time, and hopefully that's give you a good idea, a good indication of what this kit is like. Just to show you again, it is the, where is it? Sorry, wrong side. It is the Voilamart 1500 watt hub motor kit. Bye for now.